At this session, we're going to talk about scheduling the parts. Here, as you can see, if in the level 1 plan view, I click on schedule and quantities. Here in the list of the categories, as you can see, that can be scheduled. Here if I press P, as you can see, we got parts, which shows that parts can be scheduled individually. Right now, in order to understand the topic better, here I'm gonna sketch a wall by this way, like this. And then I'm gonna create parts, so I select it and then I click on create parts and then divide parts, edit a sketch. Let me set the work plane by picking a plane and then I choose the surface and then I sketch by this way since I want to divide the walls by this way. Then I click on finish. After that, if I activate show shape handles, then as you can see, practically I'm increasing the mass or the volume of the geometry by this way, since the thickness is increased actually. Following that, I'm gonna modify one of the materials, the materials of one of the parts. I uncheck material by original and then in material browser, for instance, I associate oak flooring to the selected part by this way. Well done. Before going to the next step, I want you to note that I specify show original in parts visibility. Then I open edit types. Let me modify the category of one of the layers. Let me see what we got here. I associate plastic, or let me check. For instance, brick common. Well done. I click on OK. OK. Check this out. Then I choose show parts for revisibility. Show original. Show parts. Check this out. Right now, let's schedule these parts. Here in View tab, if I click on Schedules and Quantities to schedule the existing parts or the wall parts, I choose walls. Let me specify the fields that I want them to be scheduled. Area and volume, for example. Okay. As you can see, the area is 95 square meters and the value of volume is defined to, which is 19 cubic meters. Right now, if I schedule the parts, not the walls, so I choose parts in the categories. Here, when I choose parts, we may have different kinds of categories which have been converted to parts like floors, walls, slabs, ceilings, or whatever. Therefore, one of the most important fields that you need to add them into the schedule fields is original category. Since we need to distinguish the original category of each of the parts, but what is the associated category to the part. So I add original category and then I add area and volume by this way. Area and volume, and then I click on OK. Let's check it out. As you can see, the values are area and volume are displayed individually for each of the different parts. Here we got 9 parts. That, as you did see in the table, in the schedule table, they were scheduled individually, but I want to calculate the total or the general value. So in formatting, I select area and volume, calculate totals, okay, and then I check grand totals. Let's check it out. Here the area is 208 square meters. These two values are not equal to each other. About the volume, in the previous one was 19, but here in the new schedule table is 41 cubic meters. So this enables you to schedule the parts of the different categories individually or separately, and assume that if we had a floor, for example, which has been converted to parts, let me sketch a floor here. Here, since the work plane is set to the wall, sketching floors is not available. Here, as you can see, the work plane of this view cannot be used for this operation, and this operation should be performed in another view, or the work plane of this view should be set to a level by using the work plane command. So let me modify the work plane, and then I set it on level 1 by this way, and then I sketch the floor. Check this out. Then I select the floor to create parts and then divide parts. Let me edit the sketch. I sketch some lines, some straight lines, finish. Well done. I check show shape handles, and then I modify the parts, and in the another part I increase the thickness. So let us check the schedule table. As you can see, the floors are unlisted here, and here we need to open schedule properties, and then in sorting and grouping I sort them firstly by original category and then add the blank line. Here even you can display the footer for displaying the title, count and total. As you can see, 4 floors and 9 walls, and the value of grand totals are not practical actually, since it refers to both floors and the walls. So if you are using parts in the process of modeling, you have to use or specify parts in the category while scheduling.